Recently, while I was working on an upcoming video, I got it into my head that I wanted to be able to film an object that was slowly revolving around. Now, even though the scene should probably only be around 2 seconds long whenever this is finished, nevertheless I set out to make a turntable out of whatever parts I could find sitting around the house. And this is what I came up with. I'm pretty satisfied with it, but it is light duty, and if you want to rotate something heavier, this probably isn't the design for you. This kitchen timer is a pretty good example of my tendency to repurpose broken kitchen appliance parts. This is just the old timer knob from my previous toaster oven, and it's just made with some 2x4 and a piece of cedar to cover the front face. I decided to use an old coffee can lid like this one for the top of my turntable. So the first thing that I did was draw a circle that was the same size as the inside diameter of my coffee can lid right here. I then took a scrap piece of my stock and traced it around the perimeter of the circle, with each piece overlapping a little bit, and then my angle would be right about in here. And this just gave me a rough estimation for the size of the vessel that I was going to make. It turned out that there were at least 10 sides required to do this, so I made it a 10-sided figure. The first thing that I had to do was make a 10-sided bucket like this, and if you would like to see how to make one of these, I suggest that you watch this video. Just click right there. Okay, so let's take a look at the inner workings of this device. This is a motor from inside of a microwave. It's the motor that operates the turntable. And this is our coffee can lid. And the shaft that drives it is just a piece of vinyl tubing. There is something that I should probably mention about microwave gutting. There is a potential danger involved. There's something inside called a capacitor, and there can be stored energy inside of it. And before you mess around with getting spare parts out of a microwave, it's a really good idea to discharge the capacitor by shorting it out. So make sure that you know what you're doing before you go poking around inside of one. This big felt pad will go on the bottom, and these felt pads will go on the top, and the coffee can lid will ride right along them here, and hopefully it will help reduce noise and friction. I'm just going to affix them with some mild spray adhesive. Now Now it's important to consider that this little motor was designed to turn, and it really wasn't designed with an axial load in mind, so we don't want to put too much weight on this. We want the weight to rest on these pads if at all possible. Now the limitations in the motor are okay, and I consider them because really my emphasis here is more on making a turntable that's quiet as opposed to a turntable that can handle a lot of weight. Now the vinyl tube is quite a bit shorter than the top, and it's only held to the top piece by just a friction fit. So it really shouldn't shoulder too much of the weight. After giving it a few spins while applying a little bit of pressure to the center, you can feel that it's seated nicely, and weight is easily distributed onto this part. This is 454 grams, or 1 pound of nails. And it can handle it, but I don't think I would give it much more than that. But for my purposes, this will suffice. It was, after all, from its inception, designed to be a very lightweight turntable. But I hope that you found something in here interesting. See you next time. I'm very pleased with how quiet this turned out to be. I'm not using any zoom right now, so the camera is about 4 inches away from the turntable, and it is this quiet.